All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into Miss Manifest. This is going to be immaculate. This is the Achieve the Dream series where I'm bringing amazing entrepreneurs that's going to share how they can help, the world with their gifts. And this young lady, Irene, is here. She's immaculate. I never, ever met anybody like her. She does past life readings, and I'm sure she does amazing other things. She'll tell her story basically. So Irene, just tell the audience what you do.
Wow, what a big it's a big question. I am I'm an intuitive. I connect with my guides. My guides give me information about about people, about places, about things. I am very sensitive to energy, so I pick up on your energy of people, places, and things. And also my guides give me information about what sometimes about your past lives, or also about questions you have about your current life. So I also do Reiki as well. I offer Reiki, which is I channel the energy of the universe to facilitate relaxation, to promote healing on certain body parts and energy centers. We have 7 energy centers.
Wow.
So starting with the base of our spine to the top of our head, which is our crown chakra.
Yes.
Yes. So basically the universe is energy, and we have energy centers as well. So it's so I've really taken a deep dive as also spiritually in the last year, with everything that's going on. So I've learned a lot about the universe, the way the universe works. Followed a lot of influencers on YouTube, read a lot, did a lot of research. A big fan of the Law of One, which some people may or may not know. It is a channeled work that was done in 1981 through 1984 by these metaphysical UFO researchers that actually came upon what a channeling is. She channels, Carla Ruckert channels the collective, which is a 6th density social memory complex of these beings from Venus that exist on Venus about 1 million years ago, I think. Yeah. So it's a growing phenomenon, and there's a lot of people who do follow the Law of One now. So and anyone who wants to learn more about the Law of One, you can check out Aaron Abke. He is big on YouTube and also on Instagram, and also Brian Scott talks a lot about it too. So, and then I think they have their own YouTube channel, The Law of One. So there was also 2 gentlemen who help facilitate the channeling as well. So it's fascinating stuff. Basically, the Law of One says that we're all one. So we all come from God, source, and basically we're split off we're all fractals of the one creator, prime creator.
Wow.
So it's fascinating stuff. Fascinating.
So you can channel Venus right now?
What's that?
Can you channel Venus right now? Or are you learning to? Or
am I doing what? What did you say?
Like, do you channel the Venus? Because you said that like people was able to channel there. So like,
yeah, there are. This was a very specific way and things that they had to do for this channel or for this information to come through for this particular person. I don't channel that collective, but I'm in more communication with my guides. But it's fascinating stuff because the channeling in the book really details the way the universe started, how it, just progressed from there. And these beings did live on Venus for a time, and then they actually they graduated to the next density, which is their 6th density, which a density is basically the amount of light that's in your body. So there was 38 beings on Venus, and 6 million of them split off as a social memory complex, and the rest went on to exist on other planets. So it's really like very deep, like metaphysical stuff, but it's fascinating. And anyone who wants to check it out, Aaron Abke really does a great job in explaining it. Much better than I did.
No, you did phenomenal. It gave us an opening because a lot of us probably, especially, we're enlightening our community, right? So whatever you're
Yeah.
speaking of, you're at least throwing a little, gem so that they can take it. And if
And
they're
that's
interested,
it's the breadcrumbs. That's
right,
what
the
I call it.
breadcrumb
It's
is
the
important.
breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Yes, and it starts with something because I started with law of attraction and now I learned about this. And I'm like, wow, like I didn't hear about this since 2012. I never heard about this,
Yeah.
and nor have I. And it's so funny because I told you that I started to get like this gut feeling to start finding out about my past life. I'm like, well, who told me that? Like, because I heard the same sound when I was supposed to go to Hawaii. So then I'm like, okay, let me go with this. So I started looking up past life regression, I think it's called.
Yeah, it's basically a regression is so you could get into more of a relaxed state to access your subconscious memories, which your subconscious holds your past life memories. But most of us can't get to it, unless we're in that relaxed state, which is where hypnosis comes in.
Oh my gosh, it scared me. I was like, oh my goodness. So, that's why I was like, I don't know if I can do that.
But you can actually, some of my past lives, the dream state, what will happen is that your past lives, I know this happened for me, some of my past lives came through in the dream state, and a couple of them surprised me, which was very interesting. So,
goodness.
but that's when you're in the most relaxed state.
Most relaxed.
The theta, the delta. The delta is the most relaxed, really basically the dream state.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that before you go? And the delta is for the audience.
Is what there's alpha, beta, theta, and delta. And there's gamma, which is really, really deep.
I never heard about gamma.
Gamma is actually the state that the woman was in to channel the collective Ra, which was from Venus. So that this woman Carla went under, she was put under by Jim McCarty and I forget the other gentleman's name. Don was his name. So basically she was put into this state and she would go completely out. She didn't remember what she said or anything that happened during the session. So this is when the beings were able to come through her and give a myriad of information, so much information. It's of 4 volumes books.
Oh my goodness.
So if you want to really learn about what it talks about different public figures in history, what like certain things that happened in their lifetimes, and they talk about being there's basically 2 groups. We're all 2 groups of people, either service to self or service to others. Yes. So basically not everyone is, most people are service to others, but there are those people that are service to self. Certain figures were service to self, meaning they like to control and enslave people. Now, not everyone you would think is a service to self. So there's some public figures that weren't service to self that you would think, or I should say that was service to others that you would think are service to self.
Right.
So it's basically what where that lies in your heart, like what's in your heart, and also through your actions as well. But it's very interesting stuff. Very.
Oh my goodness. So yeah,
talk, and I can verbalize it a little better, but I'm just a little nervous tonight.
No, you're not nervous. You're doing amazing. I know and whoever's watching is gonna be like, wow. And I know they're gonna write things in the comments. I would love for you to just reference whatever you're stating about different people, and I'll put the links in the description so they can click it, and we'll give them value. So they'll be like, wow, this is dope. That's what we're just enlightening. You don't have nothing to be nervous about, because I think I'm the one that's nervous, because I'm like, the information you be giving me, I'm like, guys, for the background. So I did a little bit of past life. What would you call it? Like a past life session with her, right? Yeah. And it was immaculate. I was literally boiling. And, things she told me, she'll say a little bit about it today, and then she'll give me some other information based off of whatever she has. And the things that she told me, it literally shook me. And I was awake. So I was great that I was receiving it. I didn't ask for it, and she gave it to me. She asked me if she could tell me something. And I was like, okay. And then she told me, and I received it. So guys, it's okay. It's not scary, but it's fun. And she's immaculate. You can book her. I would definitely have her details in the description box. So let's get started. So you want to catch them up to what you stated in the last reading from my past?
Yeah, it's so I got so much information from my guides. Where to start? So so basically the way our souls evolve and start out is we go through densities, which are basically the composite of light that's in our soul, our spirit. So we start out as elements is the first density, then plants, animals, which is the higher second density, then third density is where we are, which is the density where we first become self-aware.
Okay.
So you have had existences on other planets. You're from the Andromeda star system, from the planet Lyra. So, and then what happened with Lyra is Lyra was destroyed by a negative entity star system, one of the Orions. And so you had to go to another planet, which is called, this is weird because I kind of knew planets that existed as numbers, but this planet doesn't have a name. Its name is a number. Planet 657 in the Andromeda star system. Now, Andromedans are known for you're very intelligent, very wise, and you have a lot of soul energy. So much soul energy that you're one of the few, there's only 1 million people, around 1 million people from the Andromeda star system that exist with your level of energy on this planet today. So that kind of ties in with what we were talking about, what that kind of you were saying, Charmaine said you were like in the 3% of which I remembered, and I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense. It's amazing. Amazing. So now I want to explain to everyone that we are multidimensional. So not only do you're a star seed, basically we're all star seeds. We all come from other galaxies, and we all exist simultaneously on other planets and galaxies as well. But you started out in the Andromeda galaxy in the planet Lyra, and then you moved to planet number 657 in the Andromeda star galaxy, I should say, which is the neighboring galaxy to our galaxy, which is the Milky Way.
Oh, the Milky Way.
And so, like I said, so what happened is that what I also got is that you also were plant life which is a second density. You were a plant life on this planet as well. And then you decided to come to what happened in your first incarnation, or actually what I should say is, now the lives I'm giving you are not all the lives that you've had. These are just the ones that they're sharing with me. You have had many lives, many lives on this planet. So now one of the ones they shared with me, and this is so interesting, is that you existed as a bird on Lemuria, which is, think of it as it's one of the ancient civilizations that exist on planet Earth today. Yeah, so you existed as they didn't tell me what kind of bird, but you're a rather large bird. And they showed me you flying over these really green mountains. And it's interesting because Lemuria is thought to be said that it was in the Pacific Ocean, right next to the coast of California and near Hawaii as well. Yeah, it's so interesting. But they showed me these really green mountains, and you were flying, and you were very, very happy. In fact, you were so happy, and your polarity was so positive that allowed you to incarnate. The next incarnation they showed me was you were there is in the late 15th century into early 16th century, you were the page for a king. So you took such pride in being this page. A page is basically, they do certain domestic things for the king, or they do his bidding or whatever. You were very close, and you took a lot of joy in really serving this king. And this king knew that. And he was the king it's so interesting. They said he was the king of England and Scotland. So I don't know how that translates in history, but it's very interesting. So, but he really was very fond of you. You traveled with him when he went on his journeys. Yeah. And the other thing they showed me is that you've had more male existences than you've had female. Yeah. Very interesting. And that's true for, that could be true for any one of us. And then this is interesting. So the next existence, they showed me that it was yourself and you had a brother, an older brother. Now, your older brother was shown to me to be your mom in this life. Yeah. So the way it worked is that you guys, you were brothers and you worked a farm, an English farm. This was the mid to later 16th century, after your existence as the page. So it's so interesting because even though you were the younger brother and your mom, for some reason she wasn't quite as strong as you and you would have to work the farm, you would kind of have to pick up the slack, or sometimes what she couldn't do, or what he couldn't do at the time, I should say.
Right.
So you were also, and your older brother loved you so much for that and really felt like this, I don't want to say a debt of gratitude, but was so grateful. And you were the stronger one. And I hate to say weaker, but he wasn't just built like you were. So you did most of the work on the farm. So when both of you went to the other side, you agreed that your older brother was going to now be the mom so he could take care of you.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it just blows my mind sometimes.
And I'm adopted.
What?
I'm adopted by my grandmother, which is my mother. Wow. I was given in birth, I wasn't given to my biological mother. I was given to my mom, which is my grandmother. And she has raised me like if I was her, and we look alike because she is my grandmother.
But now that you mention it, you did from the picture. Right. You do look alike.
And her love for me is like, it's no other thing, but continue. Oh my God. Yeah, and
her love for you is so great because what she's carrying also that gratitude from that lifetime. So she feels she wanted to be able to take care of you like you took care of her. And mother is more, it doesn't necessarily always, like you said, mean biological. She plays the mother role. See, we really play the role. In fact, a man can also have a mothering energy as well. It really is how that person basically treats you, and how they nurture and support and encourage you. So there's a mother energy. There's also, people also have mothering energies with their pets. Yes. So just because she was your grandmother doesn't mean she really was your mother. Yes. And that's why it's interesting. She kind of she made it interesting. She kept it interesting when you guys agreed to come here. You didn't agree to do it the traditional way. She made it a little interesting, but nevertheless, because it makes it all the more special. Think about it, that she chose you. You know what? She basically chose to stay and be the mother that you needed, so that she could take care of you.
That's so
fascinating. But actually, I forgot to backtrack a little bit. This is the thing that blew my mind. So, what I got was when you were in the womb, very, very, very early. We're talking weeks.
Okay.
You had a twin, and it was a male twin. It was a boy. This was a soul that wanted to experience what it was like to be in the womb for just a few days, maybe a week. Mm-hmm. And then it was dissolved, or you absorbed that portion of the twin, which was so interesting. So people think, souls can't experience this human body or experience unless we're a full-fledged body, but that's not true at all. Not at all, because cells are energy. So when cells start to divide, there's an intention there of becoming a human. So a lot of times what souls want to do is they want to experience what it's like to keep expanding and the becoming. They call it the becoming of a human. And then they go back to the other side. And then you absorb that portion of, I'll say the twin. He was going to be your fraternal twin brother. But he just wanted to experience those just for a few days, maybe a week or so, what it was like to be in the womb like that.
That's
As
great.
a potential human.
And it's funny because my brother came out because we are adopted, but we separated. I was the firstborn. So they took me with my great grandmother, and my grandmother took me into the home. Everybody else had to go into into the foster home because there's too many. It was about, I think, 6 of them. My brother, everybody's like, oh my God, he looks like your twin. You know, he looks like your twin. He looks like your twin. And I'm like, we do look like twins. It's like crazy. Everybody else is a little bit more darker, very different features. But me and him, similar. So it's just so interesting that you said that. Like,
yeah, well, now they didn't show this to me, but what could have happened is that he did decide to come through, but not at the time that you were coming through. Because as what I've been shown is when we're born, our month, the day, the year, that's our coordinates, and our parent, our mother, is the birthing canal, is the portal that we choose that basically gets us into this third density, or the earth plane. Right. So that's how we enter the earth plane, through the portal of the womb or the mother. And our birthday is the coordinates, the month, the day, the year. So we choose that very specifically to come through the portal at that day, time, and year. So it's like the coordinates of longitude and latitude, when they say, well, this place is located certain degrees longitude, certain degrees latitude, but that's what your birthday is. It's a portal location. It's a portal entry point that is very numerical and mathematical, and it's very precise. And you've picked this before you came here.
Wow. And does it mean anything? Because my birthday is on Christmas. It's 12/25.
Oh, yeah. I'm so glad you said that, because what my guide said is because you brought a lot. Not everyone brings the same amount of energy in their incarnation. You brought a lot of energy because you had a lot to do here. Not everyone, like I didn't bring all the energy I could have brought when I came into my body here, when I was born. And because of where you come from, the Andromeda and Lyra and that other planet, 657, you brought this energy with you because you had a specific purpose, and your purpose also is to help raise the frequency and vibration of our planet.
I knew it. I knew it.
So basically what my guides told me is that when you were born, it was joy to the world. The same thing they said when Jesus was born. You don't have all this energy is very purposeful, very purposeful.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I say that all the time. This is immaculate. Like, you're a blessing. I wish I would have met you when I was like 12. Like,
same thing about my, the people that have helped me along the way. Would have saved me a lot of trouble.
Right. And, I was reading your chapter. She's also in the spiritual fitness survivor too. Her chapter is immaculate. This is a strong woman right here. She went through lots of things. We share the book. So buy the book from her. Make sure you read her chapter. Her chapter is immaculate. Like, oh my gosh. Her chapter is chapter 4, from pain to purpose. Like, her purpose on this world came from all of this pain, and she's able to help people. Like, oh my God. Well, girl.
It came it came just a little tidbit from my chapter, and then we'll continue with your reading. But it came because I wanted to check out. I was like, okay, the nonsense is done. We're done. I had a lot of trauma, a lot of pain. I was a single mom, and a lot of things were working against me. And I felt like I was just too good of a soul to exist in what I call this gangster planet, because it's a gangster planet. This is a jungle.
Yes, it is. You told me that.
So, but the funny thing is that, and I think I also explained this to you, is that we are now, think of it, if you can imagine, there are trillions of planets and stars in this universe, more than we could possibly imagine. earth is the only one where we forget when we come here who we are, which is divine spiritual beings that are multidimensional and have the power of God and create and do anything that we put our mind to with the help of God and the universe as well.
Wow. And you just said something about before. So Miss Self Love, my Charmaine, you guys know her. If you don't know her, she's on all my Instagram, Facebook, or every social media platform. She's my best friend. I met her. Can you tell them a little bit about what you said about Miss Self Love?
This is actually a beautiful tie-in to something I want to add to that I spoke about with you earlier. So what was shown to me is that you and Charmaine were what they called battle buddies. So my guides told me that you were like really more like brothers. You were friends, but you really were brothers from another mother. You served in the First World War. You were two French soldiers. So, and you were very, and what they're telling me is that because you leaned on one another and you looked out for one another, more so than, your comrades or your colleagues, you were really like this. They told me the word super glue. Like you literally you were a force to be reckoned with, both of you. You were like thick and stuck together, which is how you survived this war. And the other interesting thing is, even after the war, you really stayed in each other's lives. You didn't have children, you didn't get married. You were just very much stuck together, if that makes any sense. So much that, like, this is a bond I ventured to say even maybe stronger than a sibling bond. For some reason, it just energetically was communicated to me in that way. It's so interesting. And then what they showed me is you were fighting a physical war in that century, early in the 1900s. But today, you and Charmaine agreed to come to fight a spiritual, I don't want to use the word war, but these are unprecedented times we're living in. So you chose to, again, to become really just as close as you were in that lifetime to help wake people up. So we're fighting this war of oppression and enslavement. And, the secret, or the law of attraction, is one of the universal laws. We think what we become what we think. And you are using the law of attraction, and Charmaine is as well, through her programs and what she preaches and teaches, to really, initially it's for people to get what they want, but ultimately it's for people to wake up and see who they really are. So this is the war. So you're fighting this war, and you're ferocious.
Kingston and like we came here to change the world.
Right, are just as ferocious as you were in World War I.
We are ferocious together. Like, we be trying to knock down the door, like, please listen. And we be like, why aren't you listening? It's like we get so frustrated.
Yes, your tenacity has carried over from that lifetime into this lifetime, except you even brought even more energy. You brought all the guns to this lifetime, and of course we need it.
No, girl, God bless you. Like, you're like, oh man, this is a lot. Like, so that was what I wanted to know, because I really wanted to go back in time and study these wars and just understand, like, that you're putting all the puzzles together. And I think I had, like, also, right, I'm having these moments of Miami. Miami was my puppy, my Yorkie. He recently passed away 2 months ago. And
what I have about that, what to share about Miami is really, I have to say, when I got this information, it really choked me up. It choked me up because I know because I know you, personally, but I know how much you love Miami. But I'll tell you what my God showed me is that dog, and I don't know if it was male or female, but they're showing me it was male.
Yeah.
It was a male dog. He loved you like a love that it's really even hard to fathom. Like, it's supernatural. It's truly that that supernatural, unconditional love where you were, I know he was your everything, but you were his everything. I know sometimes you may have not always thought that, but believe me. And the other thing is, so this also touched me very deeply because Miami now has graduated from second density, high level second density. He is now a human being. He is a human being on this planet now.
He's
Now,
here.
yeah, here. Now, what my guide said is that you may not run into him in this lifetime, but you could. But he is actually, they told me he's a girl. No, he's a girl in this lifetime. He's not a boy. He's a girl. Yeah, and he lives on the other side of the world, more like in the Asian continent. But they said he was able, because of the positive polarity and the love, that he was able to graduate now to becoming self-aware as a human being. Yeah.
He was such an amazing dog. He was given to me randomly. He was sick, and I paid thousands of dollars, saving probably over $15,000-$20,000 to save this baby. And I only had him for about 4 years because he was given to me in bad condition. I didn't know. I was like, I just want a Yorkie. Put it in my purse. But I didn't even like those. But I wanted the Yorkie thing. I manifested. I was like, I manifested a Yorkie, but he was sick. He had PLE, which is protein loss enteropathy, which is basically he eats and he loses the protein. So he had all these different issues. But come to find out, not too long ago, when I brought him in, they couldn't save him because he had cancer from the top of his head to the bottom. So yeah, they had to drag me out the hospital. I was on the floor, like I could not. So I've been, when I'm come home, I'm like, hey Miami, like he's here, whatever. And people be like, girl, you okay? I'm like, no, I'm not, but I'm okay. You know what I mean? So I was like, why Miami he keeps visiting everybody in everybody's dream. They call me like I had a dream of Miami, he was smiling. And I'm like, well, he didn't come and visit me. So I was upset. So I was like, Miami, I have a meeting. What meeting was it? With Marilyn, yeah, the last one. I said, I have a big interview and I still haven't seen you yet. And I want you to be at this interview. So long story short, I think the next day after he came to because he came to my one of my family members' dreams. And then after that, he came that week to mine. And he was just looking so sad. And I was like, what's wrong? He was just looking so sad in a thing. And I was able to play with him. I was with him for 24 hours in my dream. And then I woke up and he was gone. And I was like, well, thank you, for coming. I just felt like, why was he so sad? Because I had walked out of the room when he was passing over. I couldn't be there. I let my mom do it. And I couldn't. I think that's why he's upset, but thank you for sharing that.
No, he wasn't upset. He wasn't. No. He's basically that you were, because where he was in his incarnation as a pet at that time, they of course understand that death is death.
Oh.
So he knew that he would always, he's always going to be around his spirit, and he is going to reveal himself in your dreams. But part of his fractal or his soul spirit now exists as a girl. He did graduate, so he will not be incarnated as a pet anymore.
Oh my gosh.
He's
somewhere in Asia. He's Asian. I gotta go all the way over there somewhere.
And I'm trying to think of the reason why. Well, Miami picked you. So what happened is that the reason why Miami, you both made an agreement before you came here to come together, but Miami came into your life to balance your feminine energy.
Oh,
yes, that you to bring out more of your feminine energy, your mothering, your nurturing, your protective, supportive side. Yeah, that's why you look. I mean, a lot of people, and of course, almost all people, love their pets like crazy, and they look at them as they're part of their family. But this for you was to bring out the mother that is also inside of you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, he made me feel like I was ready for kids because that was a lot of work. Ooh, honey.
Yeah, well, he did basically, there are children a lot of times, even when we don't have any children or any other immediate family members in our space, so.
And then you have mentioned something about me hitting, because on my dream board, I wish I would have had it. I had, I do have it on here, but I checked it off because thanks to you, I put Irene next to it. You're on my dream board now. So, it says purpose right here, and it says Irene check off. So you helped
Very
me
nice.
achieve the biggest dream of my whole life on here. Everything else is great, but this was the most
Welcome.
important. And I just want to
Wow.
thank you. And
Oh,
I don't know if
very
you want.
touched. Very touched. Very
I,
honored.
and everybody's like, "Why are you so going crazy about this interview?" I'm like, "No, this is a big interview. I need my hair, my nails done. This is big because you changed my life." And I don't go crazy over interviews. Like, I'm just like, I be myself. I tell people dress down. I just say a lot
Yeah.
about it. And I'm like, no, today's a celebration. I graduated. Like, I found out my purpose, and this is important. So people are like, why are you not dressed up? This is what I feel good. When you find your purpose, I'm trying to tell people, when you find your purpose, you feel amazing. You hit the spiritual lottery like she
You really
told me.
do.
But go ahead.
Yeah, it's so the reason, and I started this reading with the, really emphasizing how much energy you brought, because you need this amount, that amount of energy to help the people, because that's what you've been doing your human lives on this planet. You've helped the king, you've helped your brother, you've even what wasn't revealed to me in other planets and dimensions, the people you've helped, but I'm sure that you did as well. But in the earth carnations that you've had, you've been invaluable to people. So you needed to bring a lot of energy to help even more people. And this is the most important time we have to be on this planet. This is the most important. We're now, and Earth is entering, Earth itself and the humans on Earth and all of us are going into the fourth density, which is the density of love.
Wow.
So
The highest frequency.
Right. There's even after the fourth density, there's the fifth density, which is the density of love and wisdom. And then sixth density is the density of unity. And then seventh density is, I might be forgetting what the seventh density is, but it's right before the one where you start the cycle all over again. So there's seventh and then eighth, you go back to the creator and then you can kind of start it all over again.
Wow.
The universe is basically spirals within spirals. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This is like, woo, honey. And you said that I hit my spiritual lottery basically because of my lifetimes before. And what about my father? Like, what is his role? Because he's my stepfather, but I never called him my stepfather a day in my life. This is probably the second time I ever said that in my whole lifetime of, having him. He also adopted me. That is my mother's husband, which is my grandmother, but her husband. So they're my grandparents, but they're really my mom and my father. His name is James.
Well, his role is more of he was kind of to be really, he wasn't to be the primary caregiver. He was really more to be the support person for your mother or grandmother or great grandmother.
Yes.
So he was basically, his key role in his incarnation now is to be that support, because your grandmother, your mother it wasn't the contract for her to do it alone. It wasn't the sole agreement for her to do it alone. They didn't give me a whole lot about your dad, but
okay.
Basically that's what they said. He was really, his key focus and his key purpose was to be a support person.
Wow.
Unless you have another question about it.
This is immaculate. And then there was two more people that really was questioned. Like, I questioned because before, when I was born, it was my great grandmother, and everybody keeps telling me that I act like her. This is my great, her name's Josephine. She knew about law of attraction. She was who's the guy that made the 7 spiritual laws of success? Deepak Chopra, right?
Yes. Deepak
She read that back then. She was reading those books. So everybody's like, well, if she was doing this, maybe, she's channeling the information to me or whatever. And her name is Josephine. So I'm just like, I didn't have a long time on this world with her because she passed away when I was probably like before 10. I was, yeah. So everybody keeps telling me about her, and I'm just like, dang, I wish I could, know she. I don't see her in dreams. I don't know much. I know about her, but I don't remember anything with her when I was younger. Yeah. So you have anything from that? My mom's mother.
What happens is we also inherit, we have a DNA line as well. And we also, what's passed in our DNA from our great grandmother could be the beliefs, the thoughts. And so that's very true with you, because you did, it doesn't get passed down all the time, but you and her had that connection, and it actually is in your DNA from your great grandmother. It
So
is.
this
So
is DNA.
basically, this rests. A lot of people, they find this hard to believe, but thoughts and belief patterns and stuff like that rest in our DNA from you could call her, she is your ancestor.
Right, ancestors,
Yeah,
right.
and that's what happens. And I find it true of myself as well. I find myself, doing certain things and behaving or believing certain things, but also spiritually. And I found out certain things about my mom that blew my
Wow.
mind too. That I judged as one thing, but yet we're very much spiritually evolved. And I'm like, wow. I almost thought that my mom and I were twin flames because we were so spiritually evolved and mirrored each other.
Right.
So, but now I realize that her DNA and my DNA, we share the same thought
Oh,
patterns and beliefs
oh,
it's a very metaphysical way of, thinking about it. But we
that's
definitely,
amazing.
our DNA holds information, and that information gets passed down through generations.
Wow. Well, that's
Yeah,
deep.
amazing stuff.
Yeah, this is amazing. I am like, wow, I want to look up the planets. I want to study this stuff. I tell everybody take notes all the time when you're learning something new so you could go back. Even though this is recorded for me, I still took notes. And yeah, I'm just flabbergasted. I'm really excited about Miami. I'm like, oh my gosh. That was just, first my
Yeah,
purpose, that, my
yeah, but
mom.
also, and they gave me that in the future with your business and with your as you expand that you're basically going to start a network of spiritual people or teachers who life coaches you're going to start like a network of those that are going to help other people. So it's kind of like going to expand that way.
I saw
Yeah,
that, right?
they said the term organization to me, like
Yeah,
a organization. So basically I kind of thought that that's what you were going to do. That's what they showed me,
yeah.
but they gave me the word, you're going to start an organization. I'm like, wow, that's
That's
a big task. But you're going to start an organization or company, I should say, that is going to offer these different categories of life coaching, spirituality, and all different genres and branches to help people even further expand their own consciousness, their own gifts. So you're kind of going to start that network or that company or organization that's going to do that, in addition to
girl.
what you're doing now.
This is exactly what I felt. And I was pushing towards, that's why I started the channel, The World's Greatest Manifestors, because I'm picking and choosing who I'm gonna put on a platform, because my dream is
Wow.
to have it's called, for everybody that wants to know, it's called Achieving Wealth Effortlessly. So I'm gonna have a platform. It's doing a day what you do in a decade. You will have all these different
I
amazing
love
people that get
that.
you to your purpose.
I love that.
Right. So, I have, of course, Charmaine is in the back.
I love it. Your brother, I'm going to call her your brother.
Right, my brother.
Your brother.
So
It's so
yeah,
true.
so
It's
it,
so
and then my first program was called Manifesting Your Life Purpose.
awesome.
I
Awesome.
mean,
Awesome.
it
It's
all makes
amazing
sense.
stuff.
I
Yeah.
get it. It's
You've
clicking.
helped you've helped so many people. You have so many testimonials, and that's one of you are, and I think I had also told you this before, that you are in your purpose. You are living exactly where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing. And many, many, many people cannot say that. And which is the people that we want to help themselves, So
Yes.
we want to get the people who want help and who want to further themselves, get where they need to be. But you
Wow.
can't help a person who doesn't want it.
That's Miss Self Love's favorite line. You always want to help some people that don't want it. I'll be like, I can help everybody. She's like, who do you want to help? I say, everybody. She's like, you can't help everybody.
No,
I
you
can help
can't.
everybody. She's like, you can't help. She's fighting me.
It's
Because
so true.
she keeps
Because
me
you can't
grounded.
give a gift to someone who doesn't want to receive it. It's like
Fine.
trying to give someone a gift that they don't want, they don't want it. They
So
have to be in the receiving mode. Yeah.
right, they have to. Two things. So before I started this call, I was just so grateful for this call, as per usual, like I told you. And I had this download to turn on my Netflix, and because I remember Tony Robbins had a Netflix documentary. whatever. So I'm like, I heard the universe say it. I said, well, let me put it on. So I put on Netflix. Tony Robbins is on the front screen. It just says press play. So I'm like, all right, press play. First 5 seconds, I'm bawling. I'm just like, dang, Tony. And I'm like, God, please, allow me to transform my message like him. He's helping people that suicide, just have suicide issues and people that are sad. And the first person was the person that was a suicide person. And I was just like, oh my God, like he healed them in literally 5 seconds. And I was just like, wow, that man is powerful. So long story short, I was just thinking because like we was talking about on the call, when I did the personality test, they said that he's also a commander, which is a personality trait.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I know very well. I'm the protagonist. That's my personality. I'm the protagonist.
Wow. See, so you know them. So,
I do.
And I tell people to learn their personality. So me and Tony Robbins share that. We're only 3% of the world. That's why you said, wait, it's kind of like.
And it just aligns so perfectly with what they showed me, because you are exceptional. Like I said, that's why you needed so much energy, which most people don't bring all the energy that they can from the other side, from their soul, their spirit, that they can. I myself am one of them. I chose not to bring all the, a lot of energy to this life, this existence, this incarnation. But that doesn't change, of course, that doesn't change my purpose, but it just is, that's what I chose in this lifetime because of where I come from, a certain particular, I'm a Pleiadian, which is in the Andromeda galaxy. I have different attributes and different things, but yes, that's what they show me loud and clear.
Wow.
That you are, it's very few people. When you think there's almost 8 billion people in the world, and there's only about 1 million of those particular Andromeda starseeds like yourself. Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary. It's extraordinary.
And it's so crazy. So 2 things. Again, when I was dreaming back in maybe 2011, maybe 2008, I woke up out of my sleep and it was like an explosion. And I woke up like, oh my God, the world's going to end. I was trying to tell everybody that, but it could have been from that time because I woke up boiling and I'm like, what the heck was that?
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Some of the details or the scenes from our past lives come into our dreams. And I know that, and they seem so real. It just is so visceral. It does wake you up sometimes. And sometimes it makes you cry in your sleep. That happened to me, where it was so powerful. It's really makes you, really wakes you up, so to speak. It really does.
And it's crazy because when you said the Pacific Ocean and me being a bird and all these things, for one, I don't wear sneakers, right, at all. I only have heels and sandals, flats and boots. That's flat. That's the only flats I own. I don't own any sneakers. I get a premonition, or I would want to say like a push in my gut to be like, listen, you got to go to Hawaii. My client, I have a cleaning business in New York. My client moved to Hawaii. Long story short, I went out there and I went out there by myself. It was a guy with me. But he was my friend and he was going out there to transition into a job with the mail system. I said, I'll come with you because I already knew in my gut to go to Hawaii. So I call it tag team dream and I tagged up with him to get to Hawaii. He went about his business with his mail system thing. I got a car, rented it. First time I ever rented a car, I was driving around Hawaii. I felt like I was there. I felt like this was where I had to be, right? I meet this spiritual woman. She's like, hey, come take a hike with me through one of his friends. I never met the girl. I do 2 hikes. Yeah, never put on sneakers like till maybe when I was younger, but not in my lifetime of when I was an older woman. And she had my size sneakers in her trunk. She was like, you can put them on, because I came up with some glitter sneakers because I knew I was gonna need sneakers or something out there. But I came with some glitter sneakers. She was like, they don't have no grips. That's not sneakers, honey. But I got a pair for you. What size are you? And I was like a 10. And girl shoes. She was like, oh, okay, so that's perfect for what I have for you. So I put it on, fit perfectly. I was like, oh, this feels good because I haven't felt sneakers in so long. I do the hike with her. I get to the top after, and these are the hikes that's like life or death. Like there's nothing. Wow. And there's bridges that's broken that you kind of got to crawl and there's holes. So you kind of got to balance. I don't even know how this is legal. Like it's crazy. I get to the top. Right. I finally get to the top. I don't know why I'm up here, but she was like, I only went because she said, when you get up there, you can hear God clearer. So I'm like, okay, well, I need to hear him clear because I was drinking, partying, and I wasn't hearing nothing. So I did it, I get to the top and I'm like, like I made it, and I'm sitting there and I see all the birds and I see the water, around
Oh,
Hawaii. I'm just like,
beautiful.
right.
Beautiful.
I made it. I was holding onto the ground, like looking over the mountain because I was kind of scared. I'm a city girl. We don't do things like that. Like not over here.
No.
So, I did that. And then there was a guy with a drone, and he had like the drone going around, and
Wow.
yeah, he sent me the pictures. Come to find out, I get home and I'm sitting, he sends me the pictures. It says something in the lines of like God's gift on where I was sitting on the top of the it's called a pillbox where they was the army,
Yeah.
So, do you have anything that they may tell you about Hawaii, why I was so drawn to go there, why I was on that
Well,
pillbox?
yeah, because where Hawaii sits is pretty much where Lemuria was, where you were a bird. So Hawaii sits off the coast of really further north of California, and that's where Lemuria, which was a continent, by the way, very big, was really set to be in the Pacific Ocean. That's why
Oh,
you really were drawn there, because that's where you felt free. Yeah,
right.
that's where it was, as a bird, of course. Yeah.
As a bird. I was
And
a
if
bird.
you look it up, you'll see Lemuria was was, like I said, it was a continent. Existed, oh gosh, I forget the amount of years, but quite a few years ago, maybe 50,000 even. It was way ancient. But that's what they showed me, hills so green. And that's what they showed me, that you were this bird that was flying the green hill. You were, you were very, very happy being that bird. Very
Girl,
happy.
thank you. Oh my gosh. Well, that was all my questions, because I was like, whoa, like this filled in all the gaps. I feel like I, I took a lot of notes, and if you have anything else to share, you can.
Like I said, that one thing that I do want to reemphasize again is that you will be on this planet for a long time.
Wow.
And you and Charmaine will again, live long lives together and have the same relationship that you did like you did in the First World War, when you fought that battle. Now, like I said, you're fighting a different battle, creating more warriors.
Wow.
It's
And that's great. It's just so crazy to me, because now you can't tell us nothing. We was in wars another life. Like no, you can't affect us. Anybody is negative, we be like, we was in wars.
you
And we,
really Yeah, it's so true. And you have that, they also said you have that lion heart, that you are fierce when you want to be, but you have quiet wisdom and majesty when you need to as well. So a lot of people think that a lion heart or a lion, and it's also part of your Lyran heritage. Lyra is known as the planet, believe it or not, of cats and birds. So they're very feline. They're feline-like beings and also bird-like beings. So, but your presence is, and your heart is more of like a lion heart.
oh, and it's crazy, because I was just thinking about, I was like, why do I want to get a Jaguar car out of nowhere? Because I heard the word Jaguar, I was like, I want it. Like immediately, I was like, I want it. And it was like, okay. And I was like, no, I want this car. Like, I want a Jaguar, because I drive a Ford now. And it's not because it's luxury, it's just the statement of it being a Jaguar. So
Yeah,
that kind of makes sense.
you're drawn to things that are sleek, and things that are more like a very, because a lion has a male energy. At least the lion that you were, or the cat like being you were, was more of, had that lion presence, a male energy, lion presence. So you're drawn to that sleek, that powerful, that muscular, that very it's a lion slash masculine way to present yourself and be in this lifetime, because you have to be. So when
Wow.
Miami, and also just to tag along with that, the reason why, like I said, Miami came into your life is to balance. Now you needed that feminine energy to balance yourself out, because sometimes we get so we just get stuck, or we get imbalanced with the energies. We're too much in our male energy, or maybe too much in our female energy.
Right.
So that's why when Miami came into your life, that really helped to balance out your feminine energy, which is the nurturing mother energy. One of the
Thank you
attributes of
so
the feminine
much.
energy anyway. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And do you have any information on like how I met T? Like, because we're so connected, like the one that's in the program, like.
Yes, yes. They gave me a little tidbit about T, that she was an aristocrat in another life when we had our call the other day. So I think the connection that you have, because she was an aristocrat, which means basically she was like a king or very high up in the governmental patriarchal society back in, it was European times. Not European times, but in Europe, like in England, Scotland.
Yeah.
So I think that connection, it's so interesting you mentioned that, because when we were on the call, I'm like, oh, I wonder if she knows that she was an aristocrat. So that makes perfect sense that you interacted with her when you served the king, because she was one of the king's colleagues, or, another member of royalty, or high in the aristocratic hierarchy, I should say.
I could imagine, because I have literally, because I've known her since for 10 years now. And, like we are like this, like, it's like how it's me, Charmaine, T, and I. So that's why I asked what was the relation, because we're so like,
yeah. So but she did decide to then exist with you again, but in a much closer role than she existed with you previously. But it was so interesting.
Wow.
You said that, and I was like, oh, I can't say anything to her. She's not gonna she's not gonna believe me. She's gonna think I'm, like, what are you talking about?
No, but she caught it. When
definitely,
you got something.
Definitely, I was like, oh wow, it was an aristocrat in another life. So it was.
Oh my God!
It made me laugh. But sometimes, I have to just know who I can. I wasn't sure to share it with her unless she, she wanted to know. But
no, she'll contact you so you can do her reading, because she's gonna be excited about it.
It's so interesting that she did decide to come here and have an even more intimate role, or be in your your intimate circle of friends and people. And we plan the roles we're going to be to one another. This is all planned, and with our guides, we each have a team of guides. We all plan this together. It's not really a contract, it's really an agreement, like, hey, I want to be this in your life, and you could be that, and then you both say, oh, okay, yeah, let's do that. We're all actors playing a part anyway.
Oh wow.
But there has to be agreement, and we map out the lessons we want to learn. But again, your purpose, your lesson is purely in service to this planet through your leadership, your wisdom, and all the knowledge and intelligence that you have coming from the star system that you come from.
Thank you. Yeah, my favorite quote is "Service to many leads to greatness" by Jim Rohn. I've been saying that since I started this first company. I learned about Jim Rohn. He said it, and I was like, it stuck with me. And I just said it this morning on the live. I was like, "Service to many leads to greatness." I always say that because that's important to people. And I thank you for servicing everybody. She gave us an abundance of information. Oh my goodness! Like, we was on this.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so I'm gonna definitely post this up, and we're gonna put information, so I'll get all the descriptions and stuff so they can have stuff to click. I thank you again.
Well, thank everyone, and thank you, Ms. Manifest. Thank you, Lori, for having me on. I look forward to connecting with even more people to share even more insights into their lives, or just help with. I also do life coaching as well, so I do help with interpersonal relationships that we have in this lifetime, and kind of share my wisdom, and also from what I've lived through as well.
You're appointed my life coach to be able to pass everybody to you, because I was looking for somebody that I trust, and you have passed the test.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm honored. I'm honored.
Sending everybody to you. That's why I put you on my YouTube. Everybody like going nuts. I'm like, no, this girl, she don't understand. While you on this world, this particular world, living this, human experience, like, everybody has to meet you. And I pray that my platform passes you through.
Well, thank you. I look forward to it. And you are amazing. And, you are just going to do exponentially, keep growing and growing and growing. And I couldn't be happier to have a front row seat to watch it all.
We're going to be in the front row together.
Together. Yes, my favorite place.
There you
So
go.
yeah, this is awesome.
You have a
Awesome.
wonderful night, and I'll put this up in the description. So this is gonna be
Sounds
great.
good. Bye, everyone.
Take care. Bye.